Hi, my name is Iwona and today I will show you how to take this photo from here to here. We're going to add a lovely light rays coming from the top, just a little bit of a mist and a little bit of magic to this photo. So if you don't know me by now, my name is Iwona Podlasińska. You will find me on Instagram and on Facebook and also on my website, iwonapodlasińska.com, where you will find all the products, all the overlays that I'm going to use. I'm going to link all of them down below in the description of this video. So let's get started. I already did a little bit to this photo in Lightroom first, and we're going to go to Photoshop from here. So for this photo, I'm going to use my new product on my website, which is called Light Rays, and I just created them. I hope you will like them, and let's get started with those. Those are light rays here. And I think I'm going to start with this, with number 7. I'm just going to drag and drop it onto the photo. And it looks like that at the beginning, but what you need to do, and this is something that you need to do with all the overlays from my website, apart from some that are like either birds or leaves that are PNG files with no backgrounds. But if you see one of those with JPEG files with a background, what you need to do is go to blending modes and change the blending modes from normal to screen. And that looks really nice, but as you can see, there is a line here on the edge and on this side, and we need to kind of cover up that line with a layer mask. And if you're not familiar with layer masks, so far, there's a video here. I'm going to link it down below and on top here about layers and masks in Photoshop, and so watch that first and then come back. So I'm going to add a layer mask and a brush. And an important thing about this is that the layer mask right now is white, so we actually need a black brush. So to change the color from black to white or back, you can either press X on your keyboard or use those little 2 arrows here. And you can change the size of your brush over here. And the important part is to have your hardness down to 0. And this one is pretty small, and I like to change the size of my brush using brackets. I'm just going to paint over here. And another thing that I didn't mention, take a look in here. Flow is around 40. I would say flow can be anything around like from 20 to 70, depending on how good you are with the painting. But the lower it is, the easier it's going to be for you to make that very soft line on the edge. If it's 100%, then just kind of like slapping the thing on that, and you're never going to be able to achieve a really smooth result. So I would say like go lower with your flow, but keep the opacity to 100, because I don't see a reason in that case to change opacity at all. So I'm just going to paint that out. I think I'm going to also remove some from those trees, so it's like they were kind of in the shadow. So this is the first one. And the second one can be, you can stack them up. It's fine. If you like the one, you can add another one and another one. I will use this one on purpose because this one has a completely different color. It's very gray and it's very like blue, kind of cool toned. And don't worry about that because you can always change the color. I'm going to show you how. And the thing is that I got so used to using Lightroom that it's, for me, the easiest way to do things like that in Photoshop is just to go to Camera Raw, which is a very similar thing to Lightroom. But if you know any other way to do that in Lightroom, just go ahead, like use your ways. It's fine. I'm just going to show you like the way I do it. So I'm going to go to Filter and Camera Raw. And here it's very easy because I can know know which sliders to use. If I want to make it warmer, like more yellow, I would just push the temperature slider up and it's going to make it more yellow. I can push this exposure slider up to kind of like make it more or less of that. And I'm going to change the blending mode from normal to screen again. Now it's very hazy, so it looks like the haze is going all over the boy. So that's okay. Like, I can always remove that from the boy. I'm going to show you in a moment. But first of all, I think I'm going to get rid of some of those lines on the edges and a black brush, and I'm also removing those lines, making sure that if I want to make sure that I actually did remove all the lines, the easiest way for me is to toggle that layer on and off. So just click on that eye and turn that on and off, and just kind of like scanning with my eyes all over the picture. And I think I also want to remove that from the boy, and that will be quite difficult for me to kind of paint around. So I'm going to ask Photoshop for help in this one. So I'm going to click on the background layer and go to select and click subject. So now it's selected the boy, and if I go back to the layer mask here, then if I paint on the boy, I'm just painting black only on the boy, not on the background. Okay, and now I want to get rid of that selection, so I just press Command and D, and that's deselected. And I also kind of like want to paint around here, just behind the boy, so kind of like that haze is not going like stepping on the boy, and then it's still like right behind him, because this kind of like he should be kind of like creating that shadow. We have that very like nice like haze coming from here. If you want to add something more, you can go to my dust and maybe use any dust you want. But also, like in the case of those light rays, make sure that the color of those dust particles matches the color of the image. So we're just going to go to Camera Raw and change the temperature slider up, make it more yellow, and then again change the blending mode to screen. This time I think it'll be easier to create a black layer mask that hides that layer entirely, and then paint in wherever we want a little dust particle here or there. So I'm going to create a layer mask holding Option or Alt on the keyboard. That creates a black layer mask. If you already created a white layer mask, you can click Command or Control I on the keyboard. So that's going to invert your white layer mask and make it black. And now with a white brush, I can paint in those dust particles here and there to make them visible where I want them. There are a couple of things I think I could fix here before I go back to Lightroom to finish it all up with all my color grading, all my sharpness and stuff like that. So I think one of the things that kind of like catches my eye are the little kind of like branches here on the boy. So let's zoom in and let's try to fix them. But I actually have to, it'll be one of those destructive things. And if you're doing any kind of destructive thing to your image, is the best if you copy your background layer. So I'm going to click on the background layer and click Command and J. Or the other way you can do that is just get this layer, drag it down to wherever it says like there's a little box with a plus inside next to the trash bin, and that's going to copy that layer. We already have now the remove tool, which may be even easier to use. Let's try the remove tool instead of this one, because it sometimes does a better job, especially on those edges, than the old healing brush. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Let me see about that bigger branch here. How is this going to do? Yeah, okay. Okay, I was thinking maybe if you also felt like in your image you could add something more. There are also my light effects that have been on my website for a long time, and those are my best sellers, and I actually I'm not even surprised because this is my favorite thing. On my website, I use them in many, many images, and sometimes just add it here or there. It just kind of adds that little sparkle, that shyness to the picture, and it just looks so much better with that. So I'm going to use star number 3, and I'm going to put it on. Actually, I need that layer to be just on top of everything. So I'm going to move that layer up until I see that blue line here, and I just drop it here. And then I'm going to change this to screen. And I use those 2 arrows to kind of move my things around. People ask me that on the workshop, like, how do you move those things? You need to click on that, like 2 crossing arrows that are on the top. This is the move tool, and you move it around. And if you want to go back to transform, to make it bigger, all you need to do is click Command and T. So that's going to bring in that transform tool, and you're going to see the points, and then you just grab the point and just make it bigger. And yeah, I can barely see that now, but like I use it all the time in other images. So I'm gonna place it over here, just so you know that it really, really works, and it really does great things to your image. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope that you liked it, and make sure to check my website, iwonapodlasiewska.com. I run workshops, not only in Poland, like also in other European countries, and also in the USA, sometimes Canada, and other places. So check out my calendar for workshop. This is one of the pictures that was actually taken on a workshop. So we first we meet, then I talk about all the things that I find important when taking photos, about light composition, some like technical aspects, like, you know, how you need to set your camera. Then I help you set your cameras when we do a little bit of exercises before we go there with our cameras. I show you a few techniques, and then we go outside taking photos of kids in different situations, indoors, outdoors, natural light, artificial light, all that stuff. And then the next day we edit those pictures that we took. So every participant goes from the workshop with a lot of knowledge and beautiful images taken that they can use on their portfolio and so on. So I hope to see you one of the workshops, and I will definitely see you one of the videos here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.